All right, so today we're going to be talking about scientific notation. And scientific notation is defined as a method of expressing very large and very small numbers as a product of a number greater than 1 or greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10 and a power of 10. Okay, so this rule is always going to come into place. The number that we have has to be greater than 1, but it needs to be less than 10. Okay, so we're going to see how we're going to do that today. All right, so we're going to turn over. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do positive powers of 10, and we're going to write a number to scientific notation. Okay, so when we have positive powers of 10, and we're writing in scientific notation, so the positive ones, we have large numbers. So we're going to take these large numbers. You start out with a large number. So when it's positive, it's going to be a large number here. Okay, so now we have a large number here. It says the average distance from Earth to Mars is about 140 million miles. We're going to write this distance in scientific notation. Okay, so one thing that I always try to tell the students is remember your loop-de-loos. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write my rule down here. Remember that my number has to be greater than or equal to 1, but it needs to be less than 10. Okay, so I always want to remember, I always need to have one number before my decimal that will always give me greater than 1, but less than 10. Okay, so I'm going to always start here at the back, or wherever my decimal is understood to be. Okay, and I'm going to do my loop-de-loos. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to write that number there, and I'm going to circle it because that right there is going to be my power of 10. Okay, so how I write this number is to make it greater than 1, less than 10. It's 1.4 times 10 to the 8th power. And it's positive because it's a positive power of 10. Okay. All right. Now we're going to write a number in standard notation. So here it's going to give us the scientific, and we have to write it in standard. So now remember, we're working with positive powers of 10. So this has to be a large number. All right. So I'm going to write my number down here, 7.8. And my exponent here is going to tell me how many loop-de-loos, how many places I need to move. Okay, so I'm always going to start with my decimal if there's a decimal present in the number. So here, I'm going to start here at the decimal right after 7, and I'm going to count 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to fill those loop-de-loos in with zeros. So now I went from a very small number to a large number. That's writing in standard. So now I can go back through here and write my commas. Okay. So there it is in standard notation. Okay. So now let's move on to negative powers of 10. So if the other ones were large numbers, these are going to be small numbers. Okay. So now you have the weight of one of the smaller species of butterflies was measured at 0.0007 ounces. We're going to write this weight in scientific notation. So remember, we always have to remember our rule here. Greater than 1, less than 10. So how can I make this number greater than 1, but less than 10? Take a few seconds and work with your partner to move it and tell me how many loop-de-loos I have. If you and your partner said 4, you are correct. So we're going to write that number as 7 times 10 to the negative 4th power. Okay. We always want to make that number greater than 1, less than 10. Okay. And it's going to be negative because it's a small number. Okay. All right. So now here's a challenge question here. I want you and your partner, you're going to take this number, 2.66 times 10 to the negative 23rd power, and you're going to write it into standard notation. Okay. All right, if this is what you ended up with, you should get the right answer. I have 23 loop-de-loos, and when I fill those in, I will have 22 circles. So 23 loop-de-loos, 22 zeros in front of that number. So here's how you write that number in standard notation.